Hi everyone, this is your daily tarot reading for Friday the 24th of August. Thank you for joining me. I'm using the amazing Sorcerer's Tarot again for today's reading. Let's have a look at what the cards want you to be aware of and what's coming up for you today. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. And I'll turn those around in a minute to see what they are. So, first of all, the Knight of Pentacles, very interesting, because the Knight of Pentacles is the only knight usually that's on a horse that's stationary. Because the Knight of Pentacles oscillates between total inactivity and procrastination and passivity, or he takes extreme action. So he in a rash way, moves to Australia from England just on a whim. Or he starts a business because it just popped into his head on Tuesday and on Wednesday he's doing it. So in this deck, they've chosen to go with the extreme where he's on a flying Pegasus unicorn and he's got the pentacle there. It looks kind of like the moon. He's reaching for the moon, he's reaching for the stars, and he knows that he can make anything real in his physical life. So he absolutely doesn't doubt himself. It's about him and his passion and his purpose. Look at his cloak. He's covered in orange and red. It's more orange, really, and green. So he's listening to his true nature. And orange is not the root chakra, the sacral chakra. And it's about control often and physical power and control and power via other people. So this is something that he wants despite what other people are saying. He doesn't need anyone's approval. He's taking action because he cares, he wants to do this. So he's doing it. Next we have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is the happiest card in the deck. Usually it's 11-11. We've got two rods there, and they have this wreath and two people celebrating, and there's a castle in the back, and it's happiness. In this deck, we've got a beautiful young woman. She's celebrating with the elementals, with the fairies around her, and she's being led into the fairy realm. So, you know the old stories they had about here in these British Isles, that if you enter a fairy circle, you have to be very careful because sometimes you don't come back. And the time passes very differently. In the fairy realm, this is according to the myth. And when you come back, 200 years have passed. So the Four of Wands is about a new chapter in your life. It's about celebration, being happy, and walking through a new chapter in your life with joy and passion and pride and fun and love, and with the fairies and your guardian angels and the higher realms and God and the universe and the creator, whatever you want to call the energy of the universe, is with you, supporting you in going through that gate. So this is about really taking extreme action to reach for the stars and to make something happen for yourself. And because you have that attitude, the universe complies and cooperates with you and says, okay, here we go, we're going to create a door for you, and all you have to do is walk through it. Now finally, we have a major arcana card, which is a huge theme. The minor arcana cards are more temporary. The thing that's central to this reading, though, is the big gate that we've got, this big doorway. So it's about walking through something else. But major arcana cards mean they have much more universal truths in them and talk about universal truths, the heavy themes in our lives, whereas these minor arcana cards talk about the temporary situations we find ourselves in. So the 8th card of the major arcana, I think it's strength. Yeah, it's strength. And usually it's a woman taming a beast. But inner demons, the demons of life, people not giving you a chance, people discriminating against you, those kind of demons, and handling those and having the strength to deal with those things. In this case, she's mastered thinking, she's mastered fairness, justice, balance, she's mastered manifestation, she's superseded, if that's the right word, or transcended the laws of nature, because she's floating and she's looking at these two energy balls and she's trying to balance them and create magic. So this isn't strength in terms of having the strength to deal with those problematic things I just mentioned, people bullying you or giving yourself a hard time. She's a sorcerer and she's after power. She wants to master the world and have power over it. And she wants to create her own sun and her own moon. In my experience, that's the problem with magic. Whenever I've tried to practice it, because it's about my will and it's about really manifesting my will in life. And the thing about that is, I don't really know what's good and bad for me. When I was accepted as a teacher, I was so happy, but that turned out not to be the ideal thing for me. And when I finished my astrology course, certificate, diploma, that was really negative because I had a negative experience, but everything since then has turned out great. So we never know what's good or bad. And she is saying, I want mastery of the world, so I'm going to use all my power, my will, and I'm going to make this happen. There's nothing here saying that she's connecting with the earth, she's floating above the earth. There's nothing saying she's connected to spirit, it's all her. So the day is all you. It's you taking action, you trying to master your circumstances, your physical circumstances in life, by using your intellect and communication and travel, so that you can walk through a new doorway which is happier, which sees you as this beautiful, amazing person. And it's interesting that I use the example of the fairy circle, because there's a sense of being lost if you get pulled into this fairy circle. She looks kind of blank, doesn't she? And both of these two are willing things to move forward. And if you will things forward just by yourself, you may get that blank look. You may lose sight of what the original target was, or you may feel lost because now you've delved into something that's totally out of your depth and you don't know what you're doing. The answer to that problem, because the card is saying, yes, do take action, do make it about yourself. Try and control situations, but because you're doing that all yourself, you may end up in a position where you're like, oh, okay, I put all this power in, now I've got what I want, but I really don't know what to do with it. I've gone through the doorway, now what? The answer is to connect with the higher power, with spirituality. And remember, this is one, so it's life purpose, passion. And it's through your connection with something bigger, a higher power, that you remember why you've done this. Why, if you feel lost or scared now that you're on the other side of the doorway, by communicating with your higher self, you remember why you took this drastic action. You remember why you wanted independence and freedom. And by letting your spiritual senses open and letting the spiritual side of life come in, you won't feel lost or alone or trapped. And the freedom that you longed for doesn't now seem scary. It still is freedom, and it's something that you can celebrate and enjoy. But you can't celebrate it and enjoy it by yourself. Either celebrate it with your fairies, your angels, your guardian angels, your higher power, or celebrate with other people. Number-wise, we've got 1 and 4 is 5. 8 and 5 is 13. 1 and 3 is 4. And 4 is about security and structure and solidity. But walking through a doorway into a new chapter of your life where you are more creative, more in touch with your life purpose and your passion and your fire and what you care about. And it's down to your action. If you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor, then connect spiritually so that you are in faith and not in fear on the other side. Because sometimes we will things and then we get there and it's like, now what? Oh my goodness. And if you want to have a transition process where you really feel at ease at all times, then make sure you have that consciousness, that awareness that you're always helped and supported by the universe. So that will create stability, and it's something that you can celebrate. So it looks like a day of you really making something happen in your life that's about your life purpose, something that fires you up, and something that you want. Just find the balance. The only trap here is if you just look at the real world as it is and you forget that you're a spiritual being, that the world is an illusion, and that your spiritual insights manifest the world and the experience you have on planet Earth. You've got so much more power than you realize. So have a wonderful day. If you'd like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to audio reading. Please remember to subscribe to this channel. I do live tarot readings on this channel now. I only used to do them on Facebook and Twitter, but I've discovered that I can go live on YouTube, and from YouTube you can share the broadcast to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and everywhere. So if you do subscribe and you put the bell on, you'll be notified when I go live, and those are free readings where you can ask questions and I will pull a card for you. So it's a free mini reading. For more in-depth readings, please get in touch via my website, gregoryscott.com. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.